Welcome back, fellow geeks and fellow conspiracy theorists. Today, I have another episode for you on Geek-Stew of conspiracy theories with Ike. Now, today's theory is actually quite a popular one. It is somewhat odd in a lot of ways, but this is something that actually I saw pop up on TikTok not too long ago, and I figured to make a quick video about it would be fun. This is something that I've heard of for years, even back into the early 2000s, as early as 2008, maybe even 7. I've heard this conspiracy theory, possibly even a little bit later, maybe around the 2010s. It's hard to place in time when I heard this theory, but supposedly this theory's been around for a very long time. Just kind of depends on, where you are from and where you've heard these things and everything else. But depending on how old you were when this conspiracy theory came out and when and how you heard it, you may have known about this conspiracy theory for a long time as well. The conspiracy theory that we're talking about today is the Avril Lavigne replacement conspiracy theory. That's right. If you've never heard this theory, this one is definitely odd. I will give you a trigger warning now. This does involve conversation about death. So if you're uncomfortable with the topic of death, then I would certainly skip over this video. No hard feelings on my end, but let's get into it. Let's talk about whether or not Avril Lavigne was replaced. So the concept of somebody being replaced, a famous person being replaced, or a famous person being cloned, is not unpopular. I will let you know that ahead of time that I don't personally believe in this theory with Avril Lavigne, but to kind of give some context, some other folks who this has happened to, and I'm sure this is a small list of people who this could have possibly happened to, but there were rumors about Paul McCartney, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and many, many more. Those three are just very popular theories. If I remember correctly, the Taylor Swift one was that she was replaced by a clone of Zena LaVey, which is the daughter of the founder of the Church of Satan. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. But specifically, the theory that we want to talk about today, and I wanted to kind of imbue the essence of like how this is important, why this is happening, and how this has possibly happened before. And it certainly has. It's happened many times before, and I'm sure it will happen again as time goes on. I'm sure there will be people who are like, oh, there was clones of so-and-so and whatnot. So obviously take all of this with a grain of salt. But the theory goes as such. Avril Lavigne was replaced by a lookalike named Melissa in 2003. The rumor says that the clone was simply a body double named Melissa. Sometimes Avril Lavigne struggled with fame, and so she would take a step back and allow Melissa to take the forefront, if you will. She would allow her to take the spotlight so that she could personally rest and everything else. Basically, even further than that, some people even thought that she was a body double for some of her music videos, and possibly even some of her other works that she had done. Melissa had actually stepped in to help with them. This being said, at some point, most likely around the 2003 era, Avril Lavigne died. The cause of death is obviously speculated. A lot of people say that she may have committed suicide or may have just passed away from some other cause, car crash, whatever the case may be. And then at some juncture after she had passed away, they replaced her with her body double / clone / whoever, Melissa. And the proof of this comes in a couple of different ways. There are some shots of her on red carpets and other areas that show Melissa wearing skirts and dresses, whereas Avril Lavigne supposedly preferred to wear pants and something of that nature. And then in addition to that there are also suggested differences in facial features from pre-2003 Avril Lavigne and post-2003 Avril Lavigne. In addition to that, there are some folks who even say that in Slips Away, Melissa even hints at the death by saying, "The day you slipped away was the day I found it won't be the same." There was also a publicity shot in which Lavigne had Melissa written on her hand. Kind of odd. So these are just some thought processes that some people have gone through and some forms of justification people have tried to use to try and make it seem like this theory has a basis and has ground to stand on. Now, for obvious reasons, we don't know if this is true. I obviously have never, I don't have a personal relationship with Avril Lavigne / Melissa, so I've never obviously had the ability to verify this theory. I don't think anybody has. Avril Lavigne has, of course, spoken out about it before, generally just dissuading everything and saying, hey, this is not true. It's just something people are bringing up to talk about. News cycle must be slow, so on and so forth. But obviously the thoughts and the processes that people have gone through do seem a little bit odd. So I do kind of want to, if you will, go through a couple of these, I guess you could say, proofs. And I want to give you some additional information, such as maybe some imagery, or maybe even that picture of Melissa being written on Avril Lavigne's hand. So the picture I have up here is, of course, one of the quote-unquote proofs that a lot of people are saying that's proof. And I guess the thing to remember here, just to keep this in mind, I don't believe this. I don't believe that Avril Lavigne was died and replaced by a clone. But this is what people think is proof. Now, this one specifically, I've seen many times. Anytime that I've Googled this or tried to search this up on my own, this is something that I've seen. So this one specifically, it has like the length of her eyebrow to here, and there's like a missing birthmark or something in the middle of her eyes. Her nose is not as wide, and her lips seem a little bit shorter at the edges. I don't know. But here's what I'm going to say. Plastic surgery, rhinoplasty, any cosmetic surgery could help attain the things that are so-called differences. Or for instance, the eyebrows, just a little bit of shaping and, contouring or whatever the makeup phrases are, could easily achieve this. So this is what I kind of wanted to touch on, was that the only proof that a lot of folks have are these sort of half-baked, half-cooked up pictures like this that say, guys, she's missing a birthmark, or her nose is not as wide. Yes, but again, 10 years, a lot of money, and some plastic surgery can definitely alter your appearance. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind that just because they look different does not mean that they are suddenly clones. It just means that enough time has passed and possibly enough money has been made that they can afford cosmetic surgery. And that's the long and short of it, really. This specific proof, I guess you could say proof, really that's the long and short of it, at least in my opinion. That's very easily explained away by anything else, rather than it being a clone that replaced Avril Lavigne. So keep that in mind. I do have one other thing to look at that I kind of want to show you guys, which I do think is interesting considering the circumstances. But the other thing we want to look at is her having the word Melissa written on her during a photo shoot. The next proof is this photo of her with the word Melissa written on the back of her hand during a photo shoot. So this was circa 2003-ish, I think, ish, I say, because I don't know the exact date this photo was taken. So, here's the deal. That could honestly have been her playing into the whole concept. A lot of people say that this theory has been around a long time. Some sources say it goes back to the early 2000s, when it actually happened. And honestly, I do remember this theory from when I was younger. I'm thinking somewhere in the 2008 to 10 range. So it's very possible that this is in fact, a drop, if you will, or a hint as something ulterior that's happening during these photo shoots or whatever the case may be. So certainly it is interesting that exists. Do I think that necessarily it is proof? I don't think so. I think that this is, again, there's probably a rational explanation for this. Honestly, I think the only reason it hasn't been addressed is because anytime this theory comes up, Avril Lavigne suddenly becomes very relevant and the news media. So it's like, why would she dissuade people from talking about it if talking about it gives people to search her up or Google her or do anything in regards to her? So it kind of defeats the purpose to even try and dissuade these rumors, because if she dissuades them, then people stop talking about them, or if she tries to explain them away. So honestly, I don't think that this is anything. Honestly, it's possible that maybe Avril Lavigne heard about it, or maybe she knew someone named Melissa, or maybe Melissa is the name of a fan. I don't know. There's really no explanation for this other than she decided to write Melissa on her hand, because quite frankly, I think it might be a little too far-fetched to say that she died. But if in theory she did die, this could be a subtle way of Melissa saying, hey, my name's actually Melissa, not Avril, and so on and so forth. But, again, it kind of boils down to, like, do you really think that, like, Avril Lavigne's dead? Do you really think that she was replaced? But again, this isn't the first time this has happened. This theory has actually popped up multiple times. If I remember correctly, there was a huge resurgence a couple of years ago, because I think BuzzFeed maybe talked about it, but whoever it was, or maybe it was just somebody who tweeted about it, who started, digging real deep and really, really digging deep. But the point being is that this is a very interesting theory. Obviously, this is very unbelievable in my opinion. It's very hard to believe the quote-unquote proof that's being presented to prove what's happening, but it certainly is interesting to talk about, and it's certainly interesting to think about too. But again, I think that the proof so far, the two pictures that I've seen very frequently, both of which are not solidified or solid enough in my opinion to really say, yes, for sure, 100%, this has happened. So I'm not going to talk about this for too much longer. I do want to kind of do some final thoughts and some concepts, information in my head here that I want to kind of throw out there. Obviously the whole theory is great. It's interesting to talk about. A lot of people have put a lot of work into finding these photos and trying to make something out of nothing. And I say that in a nice way. I don't mean that to come across in a this is all fake, you're being stupid type of way. But this is obviously not true. I think that if Avril Lavigne was replaced by someone named Melissa however long ago, I definitely think we would have noticed by now. And I definitely feel like there would be more proof than just a bunch of people photoshopping images trying to say, well, if you look right here and you look right here, there's a little extra room on her nose. Oh, nose jobs? They don't exist. So it's definitely one of those situations where I 100% can explain away all of this by simply saying money and cosmetic surgery, or who knows why she wrote Melissa on her hand? Only she knows. And if in fact that is Melissa trying to let us know she's Melissa, then I feel like there would be a better way to do it than just to write in Sharpie on the back of your hand, Melissa. But of course, that's all speculation. I guess all of this is speculation. Even my thoughts about it being fake is speculatory, because truthfully, I don't know if it's fake. This could be true. None of us know if it's true or fake. And that's the great thing about conspiracy theories, is that even though sometimes they do seem far-fetched and sometimes they do seem a little off-kilter, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're fake. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not true. I feel like some of the craziest conspiracy theories on this earth could be true under the right criteria, of course, and that's something to take into consideration. That's the kind of mindset that you want to have when you read these conspiracy theories, is that 99% of the time, they're just something crazy somebody cooked up, somebody thought to themselves, hey, this might be interesting to talk about, and then they started talking about it. Or maybe they saw some differences between the two Avril Lavignes. Maybe there was a change in her appearance or her attitude or her voice or whatever the case may be. And if there was a change, if there was some sort of significant, difference between pre-2003 and post-2003, then it's possible that could have just spawned a conversation that then devolved into conspiracy, which then said, hey, maybe she got replaced. But of course, like I mentioned, this is not the first time this has been talked about. This conspiracy theory specifically has been around for a very long time. And there are other conspiracy theories in the same line, like I mentioned, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Paul McCartney. I feel like there was somebody else who kind of fell into it. I feel like one of the presidents fell into that too. I think maybe Barack Obama. Somebody said that Barack Obama got replaced after his first year in office. There was also a conspiracy theory not too long ago that who was it? I think it was Keanu Reeves got replaced. When he was younger, he got replaced by a clone because he passed away after something happened. So there's all kinds of theories. I honestly, I think if you Googled celebrity clones, you're probably going to go down a really deep rabbit hole where there's like hundreds, possibly even thousands of people who people think may have been cloned and or replaced. So keep that in mind. Safe searching, of course. Don't go into any crazy dark parts of the internet where you don't want to go. But I think we're going to pretty much end it there. I just wanted to make this video to talk about this conspiracy theory. It's entertaining to talk about it, truthfully is. I enjoy talking about stuff like this because even if it is far-fetched, if you put yourself in the right mindset, it can be enjoyable. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you think. Have you looked into this yourself? Do you think that Avril Lavigne was replaced by her body double, Melissa? And if you do, feel free to link any websites, evidence, or anything else that you want to post down below. And of course, folks, if you want to join the Geek-Stew crew, let us know. We're always looking to expand our product. You can go to Twitter and message us there. That's the best way to get in contact with us. You can do so on Facebook as well, I believe, so feel free to do it there as well. But let us know. We're always looking to expand our product, even if you want to do editing or if you want to do this or if you want to do that. We're always looking for people to come on and do some work for us because that's what we're here for. So let's get to it, guys. If you guys would give us a like, a subscribe, and a follow. Social media is linked down below and at the end of the video. And we're going to close it out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, stay awesome, and we will see you in the next one. See ya.